Morning, everybody. Welcome to week 4 of Health and Movement. Glad to have you on here. Hope you're watching this video, going over some information. Couple things just before I get started into this week's module and this week's thoughts is really making sure that we're starting to keep up with work. We're already having a handful of people fall behind. If you are falling behind, please reach out. Don't wait until it's too late. Points are out being taken off. It's a silly reason to just be losing points. The module is out early. It's out the week before, Friday before, so you should have plenty of time. If you are struggling though, make sure you reach out. This week we're kind of carrying over from last week in our idea of talking about using physical activity in the classroom to engage students. I hope you had a chance to read through the article. Obviously, if you did the top 10 thing, you would have. And then if you did get a chance to watch that video of my presentation that I did down at the SHAPE conference handful of years ago. But that's kind of a presentation I've done multiple times about my thoughts of constant natural freedom of movement. So rather than spend a lot of time talking about it now, please watch that video or take a chance. I'm sorry for any confusion on that week, the Zoom quiz thing. I sent out a message earlier in the week saying I wouldn't be doing a video. I didn't even realize that quiz was still there. So sorry about that. But want to talk just real quick about this week's assignment. Kind of showed it last week and moving in. It's due this week is our kinesthetic activity. Now, I talked a little bit about kinesthetic activities in that video in the presentation, but really just a kinesthetic activity is learning by doing something, by physically doing something rather than, just sitting on a worksheet. Are there ways that you can, have students either review or learn or do things without just having them sit down and stare at a book or stare at a worksheet or just read and read, try to memorize? If you get online and take a look, there's lots of suggestions on how to, what are kinesthetic activities for little kids. I talk about one in the video in my presentation about making bread. One thing I did, if you were in our class, we would have done it, but we do some activities like one quick way to review math. We both go rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Well, instead of doing rock, paper, scissor and putting out rock, paper, scissor, you put out a number with your hand and then you both have whatever numbers you have. So one person does a 3 and one person does a 5, and like you have them add those up, and that's 8. And they try to do it as quick as they can. You can do that with multiplication, different things, but using physical activity to teach. And so I want you to explore it. We'll take a look at the assignment, kind of go through that. If you have any questions after watching this video, please let me know. But I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here with you. Get this going. So you should be able to see this right now. And one thing I just wanted to also point out here, right here in the module in the resources, if you take a look at this, this is kind of a appendix or an index onto my article that I wrote and my presentation. Goes through some suggestions for implementation of this way of teaching using constant natural freedom of movement. Again, I'm not going to read through all of those, but when you do that, you can't just come in and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and just let you do whatever you want. There's some things you got to start to do. And this I think, gives you some nice suggestions for it that I put together. Again, if you have any questions or want to talk more about that, let me know. So let's jump into this kinesthetic activity presentation that is due on Thursday. So again, our idea is you're not going to be able to present, right? You're just going to create it and then present it to me in the thing. In class, if the face-to-face class, we'll actually be presenting these in class. Kind of just building a kinesthetic activity. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose a topic, anything you want that would be within your area that you want to teach. It could be math, science, language arts, history, whatever you decide, and choose the kind of grade level, age level that you want to be. So what you're going to do is you're going to try to develop a lesson plan. So you're going to kind of figure out, what do you want students to learn? And it could even be something like students will practice math facts, or students will practice something, or students will review for this test, review for a spelling test. Make it pretty basic. We're not going to get too, wrapped up in how specific the objectives are, but I want to be able to know, what do I want the students to know or learn by the end of the lesson? Then you're going to describe the activity in detail, so much detail that when I read that, I could go teach it right then. Not that I have to make any assumptions, just by reading it, I can teach it. Next is, and then kind of think of identify any safety precautions. Being in a classroom, you can't just have kids running around playing tag without any safety precautions. So here is what you will do. This is what I want to have submitted. And detailed activity plan is going to include, first, I want an introduction. What are we doing here? What are the benefits of this activity? How does it impact us cognitively, which is knowledge, physically, obviously moving, and then there should be a social component to it. How does that help us in our social, thinking of the affective? Those could be things like team cooperation, teamwork, making us feel confident about things. So having those three areas, the benefits there. Next, you'll list your objective or objectives, any equipment you need, and then the description of the activity. Okay. Then after you do all that, I want to have a quick little reflection and feedback about what you thought about creating this. Was it hard? Was it something that you were able to do? Or did it make you think outside the box? So this is what you're going to submit right here. Okay. You're going to kind of base it on like what we do, all this kind of stuff. This will be kind of what it's based upon. The big thing is I want you to kind of think about being creative. What could you do to make this something that students would have enjoy doing, make it better than just doing a worksheet, all of those kind of things. So I hope you have some fun with this activity. I actually think it's a fun activity. I like to, and this is something you can be able to maybe stash away and take with you later. But if you have any questions, reach out, but please watch this video if you are watching it. Clearly you have. And anyways, let me know. Again, make sure you're getting everything in. If you're running behind, please let me know, and we'll talk. Let's at least talk about it. Let's at least come up with a plan rather than just let us sit and you continue to lose points. So have a great week, and we will talk next week.